Hello, hello, and welcome back. Oh, it is such a good day today. I can feel it. I'm your host, Dr. Polyglot, and if you are new here, welcome to the party. Pull up a chair, grab your coffee, your tea, your juice, whatever you've got, and just settle in because today's episode is going to be a really, really good one. Now, I don't usually bring guests on the show who are this close to home, literally, but today I am making a very special exception because I have with me someone who has been an absolutely enormous part of my family's life for the past few years. She is funny, she is warm, she is one of the most genuinely lovely people I know, and she also happens to have spent a great deal of time wrangling my daughter, which, trust me, is no small feat. Maya, welcome. Get in here.
Oh my gosh, thank you. That introduction, I feel like I should have theme music.
Ha! I will personally compose something. It'll be terrible, but it'll be yours.
I love it. Okay, hi. I'm Maya. I'm so excited to be here. I listened to this podcast a bunch, and it's so weird to be on this side of it, you know?
I imagine it is a little surreal, but I'm so glad you're here. I've been wanting to do this for ages, honestly. Like the stories we could tell, we are absolutely going to tell them today.
Oh, we are not holding back. I came prepared.
Good. Okay, so I want to start from the very beginning because I think people will get a kick out of this. Let's talk about how you came to work for me in the first place. Let's talk about the interview.
Oh gosh. Okay, yes, the interview. I was nervous. I want to say that up front. I was really genuinely nervous going in because, it's one thing to interview for like a regular job, but interviewing to take care of someone's kid, that's a whole different level of pressure. You want them to trust you with the most important thing in their life.
Right, exactly.
And I remember walking in, and you just had this very calm, very put together energy, like intimidatingly put together. And I thought, okay, I need to just be myself here.
I hope I didn't come across as intimidating. I really was trying to be warm. I was probably overcompensating with my professionalism because I was also nervous. I'd been through some, let's say, interesting candidates by that point.
Wait, okay, we have to get into that. Finish the thought. What made you decide to hire me? Like, what was the moment?
Honestly, there were several things. You were warm, you were clearly experienced, you had great references, but I have to be completely transparent with you and say that one of the biggest things, maybe the biggest thing, was the Spanish.
The Spanish, yes.
Because language it's everything to me, obviously. It's literally what I do. And Emma was at that age where she was just a little sponge. Her brain was just soaking everything up. And I really wanted her to grow up hearing Spanish, speaking Spanish, being comfortable in it. And when you mentioned so casually, almost offhand, that you were fluent, I think I actually had to stop myself from jumping across the table.
I remember that. You kind of leaned forward and your whole face changed and you went, "Wait, you speak Spanish fluently?" And I was like, "Yes, is that good?"
That was very, very good. That was a deal breaker in the best possible way, because I knew right away that Emma would have someone who could genuinely speak to her in Spanish throughout the day. Not just a few words, not just counting to 10, real, full, natural Spanish.
And I did. I mean, we spoke Spanish together all the time. We'd do everything in Spanish. Stories, games, songs. She picked it up so fast. Kids are just wired for it, aren't they?
They absolutely are. It's remarkable. And Emma she adored you from the start, which was also a really big green flag for me. Kids have incredible instincts about people.
That is so true.
My main fear is that she will forget Spanish once she stops speaking it every day. That's what happens to most people who've learned a different language as kids. Now, I have to tell the story about the interview before yours, because without that context, people won't fully appreciate how you were a breath of fresh air, and it's a story that needs to be told.
Oh, I've heard bits of this. Please tell the whole thing. I want every detail.
Okay, so context. I had been searching for a nanny for weeks at this point. Weeks, and it was exhausting. I went through profiles and interviews, and most of the time they were clearly not a fit. So by the time this particular woman came in, I was already a little worn down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I was still thorough. I always go through the same questions: experience, availability, approach to discipline, health and safety, all of that. And I get to the safeguarding questions, which, are standard. You have to ask them. And I ask, quite simply and straightforwardly, have you ever physically or emotionally abused a child in your care?
Right. A totally normal question to ask.
And this woman pauses, and then she looks at me very seriously, and she says, "What do you mean? Can you define abuse? What's emotional abuse?"
No.
Yes.
She asked you to define it?
I smiled very politely, and I said, "Thank you so much for coming in. We'll be in touch." And I closed my notebook. And that was the end of that interview. I think the whole thing lasted maybe 20 minutes.
20 minutes? Oh my gosh, that is genuinely one of the most alarming things I've ever heard. Like, what's the thought process there?
I have spent actual time wondering that, and I have no satisfying answer. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was nervous, maybe she overthought it, but there is no universe in which that response is reassuring to a parent. There's really not.
No, zero. And then I walked in the next day and just answered no, like a normal person.
You said no immediately, without hesitation, and you looked me in the eye. That was already such a relief.
I'm glad it worked out.
Anyway, you got the job, and the rest, as they say, is history. And some of that history is genuinely hilarious, because Emma was such a handful as a toddler. Where do we even begin?
Oh gosh, Emma? Okay, so can I just say, that child was something else. She was the funniest little person, like genuinely funny, and she didn't even know it, which made it even funnier.
She really was. She had absolutely zero filter, none, which at 3 years old is adorable, and at 30 would be terrifying.
Right. The story I love to tell is the supermarket story. Should I go into it on air?
Please, please tell the supermarket story. I love it every time.
Okay, so Emma was maybe 2.5, almost 3, and I had taken her grocery shopping, which was always an adventure in itself, because she was at that phase where she wanted to touch absolutely everything, especially if it looked sticky and weird.
Oh, I know that phase so well.
And so we're in the cereal aisle, and there's this very tall man ahead of us, very tall, kind of broad. And Emma just stares at him, just stares. And I see her face scrunching up the way it did when she was processing something important. And then she goes, in the loudest possible voice, "Maya, is that the cannibal from Jack and Beanstalk?"
Oh, no. Oh, Emma.
And the man heard her. Of course he heard her. And he turned around, and Emma, completely unbothered, completely deadpan, just waved at him like a tiny little queen acknowledging a subject.
Did he look mad?
No, just confused. Thankfully, he just laughed. He was great about it. He said, "I eat a lot of beans." And Emma goes very seriously, "Not people?" "No, just beans." And that was it. Conversation over. She moved on to the next thing.
She'd ask the most loaded questions, and then completely lose interest in the answer. She'd be on to the next mystery of the universe already. The emotional recovery time of a toddler is something I genuinely envy as an adult. Imagine bouncing back from devastation in 4 minutes flat. Just completely reset, fully charged, ready to go.
I would pay good money for that ability. Good money. Just full emotional reset, back to factory settings, let's go.
That would be so useful to so many people. Okay, I feel like we could genuinely talk about Emma for the rest of the afternoon, and honestly, part of me wants to. But I do want to start wrapping up because we have been going for a while, and I want to be respectful of your time.
Are you kidding? I could talk about this forever, but I know you have a structure to stick to, so let's wrap it up properly.
I do love you for that. Okay, so before we go, I just want to say, Maya, honestly, having you in our lives has been such a gift, not just for Emma, but for me too. You've brought so much warmth and laughter and steadiness into our home, and I don't think I ever say that enough, so I'm saying it now in front of everyone.
Oh, stop it. You're going to make me emotional. This family means so much to me. Emma means so much to me. Thank you for trusting me with her. That's not something I take lightly, ever.
And you earned every bit of that trust, every single day.
I love your family. I feel like it's my family now.
Thank you for coming, Maya. I hope we get to do this again sometime. We barely even scratched the surface of the stories, which is both impressive and a little alarming.
Part 2, Part 3, I'm available. Just say the word.
Consider it booked. All right, everyone, that is it for today's episode. This was such a joy from start to finish. Take care of yourselves. Keep showing up, keep learning, keep growing, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.
Bye. See you next time.